Hola amigos, Dr. Lebrunicky. Today, I'm going to help you be successful on the AP Spanish Literature and Cultural exam by teaching you 50 literary terms that you'll need to know. Along with this, in the comment section below, I've pinned a link to a Quizlet that I created where you can practice all these terms back and forth between Spanish and English. All right, vamos a empezar. All right, starting at number 50, we got El Burlador, which is the trickster, which you may recognize from El Burlador de Sevilla. All right, number 49, Niñez, which is childhood. Según, according to. Culpable, guilty. El tema, the theme. El poema, the poem. Now for these ones, I wanted to point out that these are masculine words, el tema, el poema, even though they end in A. But there is a rule in Spanish where words that end in MA means that they're of Greek origin, and that makes them masculine. So anyways, that's some bonus points for you there. Up next, don, which means Mr. And so somebody who didn't know this once asked, why are so many people in Spain named Don? Well, Don Diego, Don Juan, Don Pedro means Mr. if you're familiar with the Burlador de Sevilla story at all, which I hope that you are, because it might be on the test. All right, a couple more in depth here. Metaficción. This is where the author or actor gives an aside to the audience, and we're going to talk about what an aside is in just a moment, indicating that he or she knows that the story is fictitious. So look for metaficción. That may come up on your AP test. And decasílabo means that verso de 11 sílabas, so a verse with 11 syllables. Memento mori, which is Latin and means remember that you are mortal, and that's a frequent Baroque theme or barroco. All right, moving on here. Metonymia, which if you know English pretty well is metonymy, but if you didn't know that in English, that means substituting a related word for a noun, such as the crown, as a substitution for the king. Estribillo, the chorus or refrain of the poem. Apostrophe, aparte. Here this is an aside or a side explanation directed towards the audience. All right, another common theme that we'll see quite a bit in Baroque literature, Carpe diem. Again, that's a Latin phrase which means seize the day or enjoy the moment or live in the present, because what comes next is kind of a decline from there. All right, prosopopeia is personification. And so there's another word in Spanish, personificación, but that would be too easy for the College Board to give you that one, so they're probably going to use prosopopeia. All right, apologia, an apology, which is a little bit different than how you might know it in English. So it's a speech praising or defending an ideology. How about epiteto? Again, another word that's similar in English, but oftentimes we don't know these words in Spanish or English because they're literary terms, and that's why you're probably here watching this video. So epithet, epiteto, a word used in place of a name. His charitable works have earned him the epithet Mr. Philanthropy. Esdrújula, word accented on the third to last vowel, such as misero. Euphemismo, euphemism, what's that? A more polite word in place of an offensive one. How about a poema épico, an epic poem or a saga, which recounts the deeds of a hero? This might pertain to medieval literature. All right, a couple words for climax here. We've got gradación, nudo, or climax. How about antiphrasis? Again, antiphrasis, which you probably don't know in English either, but that means a word used to mean the opposite of its usual sense to portray irony. Narrador omnisciente, the omniscient narrator, from the perspective of an all-knowing narrator. Assonante, assonant, which is the repetition of vowels without repeating consonants, such as stony and holy. Estoica, stoic, which means indifferent to pain or pleasure. Penultimo, penultimate, which means the second to last. Sinalefa, which translates as elation, which is the mission of an unstressed vowel, such as what is up goes to what's up. How about polysyndeton? polysyndeton, which is the repetition of conjunctions to add emphasis, such as tenemos barcos, y tenemos hombres, y tenemos dinero. Enigmático, enigmatic, mysterious. Laudatorio, laudatory, expressing praise. Acotación, a marginal note, stage direction. Estrofa, which is the stanza or the paragraph of a poem. In medias res, which is Latin, and it means in the middle of the meat, or the story begins in the middle of the action, such as Juan Rulfo's No oes ladrar los perros. Epistolar, in the form of a letter. Soneto, the sonnet. Again, this is very, very important to know this phrase. In Spanish, is very likely you're going to need to describe this recurso literario, or literary resource, on the AP literature test. So just remember this in Spanish. Un poema de 14 líneas que tiene un rima de esquema, esquema de rima de ABBA CDE. So it's always going to go ABBA, but the CDE might vary at the end. So you got to double check that that's right. Okay, some more elements could be the terceto, which is a stanza of 3 lines, and a quarteto or redondia, which is a stanza of 4 lines. And again, in the sonnet, it's probably going to go quarteto, quarteto, terceto, terceto. How about ascendenton, which is the omission of conjunctions? Yo vine, yo vi, yo conquisté. I came, I saw, I conquered. Sinestesia, synesthesia, the description of a sense such as sight or smell. Hyperbaton, hyperbaton, which is an inversion of the usual grammatical order of words, and you might hear this in Don Juan soy yo instead of yo soy Don Juan. So this is how Yoda from Star Wars talks, if you're a Star Wars fan. Why do they do this? So in the Baroque literature, which has excessive ornamentations as an element, to keep the rhyme scheme is a reason why they would use hyperbaton, and that could be a literary device or a recurso literario. That's very common that you're going to use on the AP test. How about didactico, didactic, with the purpose of teaching. Chromatismo, the use of color to portray emotions, a very common element with Federico Garcia Lorca and his 2 poems that we look at, or 2 works, that we look at on the reading list, La Casa de Bernardo Alba, and then also in El Prendimiento de Antonito el Camborio in Camino a Sevilla. All right, we're getting down there, folks. Stay with us. Anáfora, what's that? The repetition of the first word of each verse. That is a very common element in literature. How about género, which is a literary genre or gender. Synecdoche, a figure of speech by which a part is used for the whole, such as 50 sail, which represents 50 ships sail. How about simile? You're probably familiar with this one from English class, which is a simile, indirectly comparing 2 things using like or como. All right, a few more to go here. El ambiente, the environment or stage scenery. El trama, the plot of the story. Hyperbole, which is a hyperbole or exaggeration. And our last one, antithesis, the opposite or contrasting. Another one that we should know, I'll give you a bonus here, metaphora, a metaphor. You're probably familiar with metaphor and metaphor, but if you can't find any literary devices when they ask you to, look and see if there's a metaphora. There's probably a metaphora someplace around there if you dig far enough. All right, so that's been the vocab lesson number 7. Remember, in the description below, in the comment section below, I'm going to post a link for a Quizlet where you can practice back and forth between Spanish and English. So these 50 words are very, very important for you to know to be successful in the AP Spanish Literature and Culture exam. All right, up next, I'm going to give you some exam tips, and then actually beyond the 8 lessons, which I originally planned, I've got some bonus lessons for you as well, so stay tuned for those. And remember, if you click the subscribe button, you're going to get free access to all my videos. All right, this has been Learning Spanish with Dr. L. All right, gracias por mirar. Ciao, buena suerte en el examen de AP y adiós.